Floating in the center of Jaipur's Mansagar Lake, the Jal Mahal appears to be a single-story pavilion resting lightly on the water's surface. This view is an illusion. The water level hides the true scale of the structure, which contains 4 full stories built directly into the lakebed. Originally constructed in 1699, the palace was expanded by Maharaja Jai Singh II. It wasn't intended as a royal residence. It was a specialized lodge designed to host elaborate duck hunting expeditions. The site was chosen for its position within the Aravalli Hills, where quartzite rock formations provided a rugged, natural backdrop for the royal retreat. This architectural marvel was built for 18th-century leisure, but the environmental shifts of the following centuries would eventually turn its unique location into a structural liability. By the late 20th century, extensive deforestation in the surrounding hills stripped the land of its protection. Without vegetation to hold the soil, heavy rains began washing massive quantities of silt into the lake basin. As Jaipur grew, the city's urban footprint expanded toward the lake, bringing the pressures of a modern population to the edges of the historic site. The environmental impact was severe. 7 million liters of untreated municipal sewage were released into Mansagar Lake every day. This nutrient overload triggered eutrophication. Massive algae blooms carpeted the surface, depleting the oxygen levels and effectively suffocating the local ecosystem. The palace was left submerged in a toxic, silt-filled reservoir, with the stagnant water slowly compromising the integrity of its lower floors. In 2004, a public-private partnership launched an $18 million project to restore both the palace and the lake's water quality. Experts began by removing modern plaster that had been added in previous decades. They discovered that these recent materials were failing and sought to replicate the building's original 18th-century waterproofing methods. The original mortar was a specific blend of lime, sand, and sirke, a powder made from crushed bricks. This base was reinforced with organic binding agents, jaggery, Google resin, and methi powder. This traditional mixture effectively stopped water from seeping through the submerged floors. The restoration demonstrated that the ancient builders had developed a waterproofing system that modern materials had struggled to match. While the building was being sealed, the team addressed the primary cause of its decay, the lake water itself. The first step involved rerouting the city's sewage lines. A diversion channel was built to carry waste away from the lake and into a dedicated treatment facility. Engineers then began the massive task of dredging the lakebed, removing 500,000 cubic meters of toxic accumulated silt. To restore oxygen to the water, the project utilized 140 diffusers and 5 air compressors. This hardware aerates the water from the bottom up, creating an inversion that breaks down the stagnant layers and allows life to return to the lake. The final stage of the system uses artificial wetlands. Treated water is pumped through these plant-heavy areas, which act as a final biological filter before the water re-enters the lake. This multi-stage engineering plan transformed the lake from a waste reservoir into a managed ecological system. The silt removed from the lakebed was repurposed. Engineers used the material to build 3 artificial islands, providing new land masses within the water. These islands were stabilized through an afforestation effort, with thousands of indigenous trees like arjun and neem planted to prevent further erosion. The return of clean water and native flora brought migratory birds back to the lake, recreating the habitat that attracted the Maharajas 300 years ago. On the palace itself, the team worked to restore features that had been lost to time, including the original terrace garden. Since the original terrace designs were gone, architects used the nearby Amer Palace to recreate the arched passages and cupolas that now crown the building. The restoration neutralized the environmental threats to the palace, allowing the lake to once again serve as the building's ornamental frame. The Jal Mahal stands as more than just a site for photography. It is a successful integration of historical architecture and modern environmental management. The $18 million project provides a specific case study in how heritage sites can be maintained as a city expands around them. By combining the waterproofing formulas of the 18th century with modern ecological civil engineering, the team secured a landmark that was otherwise destined to be lost to the silt.